everybody, and welcome back to Board Game Breakfast. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
And we have a special guest today, everybody. We have Scott. Hello, Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Scott.
I have a hat that says Merry Christmas on it and everything. I'm going all in, baby. Plus, it's it matches my shirt, so there is that. Scott, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know already, as you've told us, that you appreciate some wine, and your wife made that beautiful display behind you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and some gaming, maybe.
I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. I actually live in a suburb of Reading called Burnville. I have a pretty decent gaming collection, but I figure everybody shows board games off in the background, so I wanted to show off some of the wine collections that we have.
I approve of showing off wine in the background. Absolutely.
It's a way to do it, man. It's a beautiful wall back there. So wonderful. Well, thank you, Scott, for joining us. We are going to have a little game show in just a little bit. We'll be talking news, of course. I should also mention, in case you are right now going, wait, I thought this was breakfast with the illustrious Tom Vassell. Well, the illustrious Tom Vassell went and lost himself his voice. He was found outside late at night shouting at clouds, and he lost his voice. So he will not be here today for this. We do have a top 10 coming today at 2 if his voice is good enough to go. Okay, so around noon today, that's in about a couple of hours, we're going to see how he's feeling. We're going to give it a test run. And if not, then we'll push it back to tomorrow, and we'll try tomorrow. If he is good to go, we'll go ahead and do it today. All right? I think that's it, everybody. Let's go ahead and check out some contributors right now, and we will be back.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Second Chance. This is I'm going to call it a tile-laying game from Uwe Rosenberg, but what it really is kind of a flip and write. So what you're doing is you are going to flip over 2 cards that are going to give you 2 polyomino shapes, and then everyone gets a chance to shade in one of those 2 shapes on their board. So it is a flip and write, but at the same time, the shapes are tile-like. So Uwe Rosenberg's kind of like the master of those tile-laying games, Patchwork, Cottage Garden, all those games. So yeah, this is another one of those style of games, but with a flip and write twist to it.
So as you guys know, sometimes Brian and I like to talk about what we're doing in our lives, trying to achieve better health, and I love the idea of second chance. Today might have been a bad day, but that doesn't mean you don't get a second chance tomorrow, even if it's a fifth, twice, like 100th chance. It doesn't matter. Each day gives you a new chance to try and get back on the goal that you have set for yourself. And so that's just something I'm really personally trying to internalize right now, especially after the year that I had health-wise. Not really good. But my new year is a second chance for me.
The reason this is called Second Chance is there comes a point when as you're filling out your board, you can no longer fill anything in. The shapes that are out there just don't fit on your board. What you get to do is you get to flip a whole new 3rd card over just for yourself and see if that one fits on your board. If that one fits, you're back in the game. You shade that in, and you're in with the rest of the group on the next round, which I love that moment. It's kind of this aha moment where like it's do or die. Oh, right here, all this with this card. Yes, I made it, or oh shoot, I'm out, And at that point, even if you are out, it's only 1 or 2 rounds before everybody else is out too. But I love that second chance moment.
If you like flipping rights, I would definitely get a chance to check this game out. Well, everybody, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany. You can find us under Ryan Bethany Board Game Reviews on Facebook or YouTube. But until then, we hope you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Cut off one head, 2 more shall take its place. Hail Hydra.
Assalamu alaikum. Marvel Legendary is a deck building game which presents Marvel characters, and it does have schemes where you get to play one mission. But if you have always thought of combining all those schemes in a story-based campaign, then look no further and get the story mode season 1 Hail Hydra, which I have created from the link shown on the screen below. What it adds is a 10 mission based story arc, which connects all the schemes that come in the base game, as well as some variations of other schemes as well, to add those 10 missions and add them in a coherent story, which might be very familiar of, well, the Hydra, the Tesseract, and the different events from the movie as well as from comics book like Avengers versus X-Men in one main world, in one story that has a start and a beginning rather than just missions without any link in between them. So if you're looking for that kind of content, then this will give you guidelines, not just the story, but also give you guidelines of which enemies to play with, which heroes to play with, and in that way lets you use all the content that come in the base box of Marvel Legendary. So if that's interesting to you, get it from the link below. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
Welcome to You Are Wrong. I have brought together a panel of experts. I will be asking them questions, and they, of course, will shower us with their knowledge. But just in case they are wrong, we've also got a game wrapped around that, okay? And I'll explain it as we go. We are going to start with Mr. Stephen Bonacore, who is quite knowledgeable in many topics, and all things luxurious, one could say.
Oh,
look at the surroundings.
Stephen Bonacore.
Look at my office. Look at this.
No,
you
it
are
is
steeped
clear
in luxury.
that you live a life of deep luxury. So I have a question for you about fancy cars. I know you know your fancy cars, and I have a question for you about that. What I'd like to know is, how many Ferraris were sold in the U.S. in the year 2020? How many Ferraris were sold in the U.S. in the year 2020?
Wow.
And I'll even give you a hint. It is down from 2019.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
There might be a reason for that. I don't know. I can't think of why, but.
Now, Z, I understand why you chose Bonacore to get this question, but I do just want to put this out there. I do drive a Toyota Corolla. So if
I asked how many of those were sold, we'd be here all day. The number's simply too large.
That's correct. So
the inferior to the Corvette Ferrari that you're discussing here sold 3,800 units in the United States in 2020. 3,900 units.
What, you said 38 a second ago.
38.
Oh, 38. What did I say? 38.
What? Someone just buy 100 in the last 4 seconds?
Sold, baby.
It's just like the eBay came through. He's like, I meant 3,900.
Buy it now.
3,800 Ferraris. 3,800 Ferraris sold in the U.S. in 2020. I hate to put this foot forward first, but Stephen, you are wrong.
Oh, shocking.
I was off by a couple.
The number is lower than that. The number is lower than that.
Because
we are going
people
to now
realize that the Corvette is a better car, so they've been buying that. I'm just
please.
Oh yeah. For every one of these Ferraris that wasn't sold, someone bought a Corvette, or probably bought 3. Let's be fair.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, so we're gonna go to Mike first, and then we'll go to Scott. And you are going to, like I said, the number is lower than 3,800. You will tell me what you think it is. Obviously, going lower. You two will go back and forth as much as you want to, giving me a progressively lower numbers until one of you says that the other person is in fact now wrong and they've gone too far. They've dropped below the target number. Whoever is correct once somebody drops out there is going to get 3 victory points. So, Mike, starting with you, how many Ferraris were sold in the U.S.? It is less than 38.
All right. Well, Scott, you are our special guest, but I'm going to put you on the spot right away. I'm coming with straight fire. I'm going to go all the way down to 2,200 Ferraris sold in the United States. 2,200.
That's what I had written down.
Are you serious?
Number.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I had written
wow.
down.
Wow.
That's great.
You guys are so many experts on the panel today.
Well,
Well-rounded experts
yes.
on every topic.
Could be a jerk and say 1999. I'm just saying.
You could
But you
do the
could do
Price
that.
is Right move. You could do that, yeah.
I'm gonna do. I'll do 2100.
Okay, 2,100. Got it. Mike, back to you.
1950.
1950 Ferraris. Very well. Scott,
1800.
1800,
Wow.
which is also the year the first Ferrari was built, by the way.
Oh.
1800.
No, it
From
wasn't.
discarded milk boxes.
Which was
Enzo
Z.
Ferrari
Garcia?
was merely 6 years old.
Z. Garcia, that's too low. I
I
stopped
agree.
right there.
I agree.
Well, Mike, you are correct. That is too low. You will be getting 3 points. Here's the funny thing. Your absolute first guess was already too low, Mike.
Wow.
When you
Okay.
said 2,200, you just about overshot it. The real answer is 2,325. So 2,325 Ferraris were sold in the U.S. But you know what? You're the one who backed off, Mike. So you get the points. If you had backed off right away, Scott, it would have gone to you. He overshot immediately.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
there
went
we
pretty
go, Mike.
aggressive
You are
on that
sitting
first
pretty.
guess. All right.
Yeah, it was quite an aggressive move. Yeah. All right, we are going to go to Scott for our first question here. Scott, I know you know your wines. I know you know your games. We'll come back around to the wine in just a little bit. But let's talk about games first. You are a man prized for his mind. So I want to know, what is the ranking on BGG of the game The Mind? As you, of course, know. Where is The Mind ranked on BGG? That is Board Game Geek for those of you who only buy Ferraris. They won't know this stuff. They're out driving their Ferraris.
2,300 of you. That's right.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
404.
404, the error number. Very well. Scott, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you are wrong. The number is higher, so it is lower ranked, okay? So you're going to go up with the numbers. And we're going to go to Stephen Bonacore first. So Scott said 404. It is a lower rank than that, i.e. the number needs to go up. Stephen, what do you think it is?
It's obviously 490.
490. Okay. Back to you, Mr. Delicio.
510.
That's cheap.
510, he said.
0.
That's a cheapy move. 553.
553.
So you went up 40.
Oddly
You went up
specific.
40, and you're saying I had a cheap move?
Yeah, you went up 20.
You're sus.
cheapo.
Mike, you are sus because you turned the bend on the centennial number. That's sus.
All right, so you went to what,
All right,
what now?
553.
553.
610.
That's a big jump.
610.
Oh,
That's right,
that's a
look,
pretty,
you're gonna challenge me. I'm gonna meet that challenge head on, Bonacore.
Six. The mark of the evil one.
666. Okay.
Evil
All
one.
right.
Mind.
Mike, back to you.
The game's not that bad.
The game's great. I love the mind.
Z Garcia? That's too high.
Yes. That's too much, he says. Mr. Stephen Bonacore, you're going to get some points. Didn't quite get there yet. So 3
All
points for Mr. Stephen Bonacore. You guys were incredibly close. Mike, you backed off a little too early. So Stephen said the devil's number, the actual number is 689. You guys are right around it.
Man.
Right around
I
it.
would have
So
gone
666, but it's actually 689.
I would have gone into the 700s on my next guess, so yeah. All right.
Okay, there you go. Very well. So we've got 3 points for Mike right now, 3 points for Mr. Stephen Bonacore. Mike, we've got a question for you.
Okay.
I already asked one of Bonacore, one of Scott. Now we are on to you. And as we know, you are a man of refined tastes.
Well,
And
I didn't want to be the one to say
movie
it,
that came out. Yeah, no, I mean, please, I'm happy to do it. What I'd like to know is, and this is this information, I don't know if it's in the movie that just came out, but the topic is sort of in the movie. We just had a Gucci movie, right? House of Gucci.
Did.
I want to know, when was Gucci founded? What year was Gucci founded? How many Gucci suits do you own, Mike?
Do you mean vintage suits or well, look, I've got a special closet for my Gucci suits and then another one for my Gucci shoes. 1886, Z, is when Gucci was founded. 1886.
1886. I hate to tell you, Mike, but those vintage Gucci suits are not Gucci. That's too old, Mike. That didn't exist yet. So
yeah, I didn't think it was spelled Guccey. I thought that it looked a little bit odd, but all right.
Gusai. Let me get that Gusai suit.
Goosey of the Netherlands.
It is more modern. It is more modern than that, guys. And we are going to go to Scott for his first answer. It is more modern than 1886, Scott. What do you got?
Let's do 1938.
Ooh, bold guess, Scott.
1938. Very well. Back to you, Mr. Bonacore.
It's obviously 1951.
1951. Very well. Scott, back in your court.
I think he went too far.
I think I'm
Scott.
Not only did he go too far, Scott, but so did you on that first guess. So way to back off when
yeah, you came out hot.
Lobbed it back.
You came out hot, Scott.
Yeah, that was very aggressive, that first move. But you are right, Scott. He did go too far. So you've got 3 points. We have a tie all the way around right now.
Oh boy.
3. Look at that. The real answer, by the way, 1921. 1921 is when Gucci was founded.
Wow.
And we'll go back around now to Stephen Bonacore, who had the first question. And we are going to go with Stephen Bonacore is a known traveler. He knows his stuff when it comes to traveling the world.
I do.
So I've got a question for you, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
How many miles can a Boeing 747 fly without refueling? How many miles can a 747 fly without refueling? And we are going to assume it's flying at 15,000 feet. And I'll even give you the speed.
15,000 feet?
They don't fly at 15,000. They fly at 35,000. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Really weird that they would have used that.
I'll just calculate that into your math.
More wind drag. I have to recalculate that. All right. So the answer to that question, oh boy. Oh boy. New York to China. 12. We're gonna say 14,000 miles.
14,000 miles is too much. You are wrong, Stephen Bonacore. You're not gonna make it, baby. Enjoy your trip to the ocean.
You're gonna need a Con Air mid-air refueling for all that.
Yes. you'll be telling people to put the bunny back in the box. So the number is lower than 14,000. We are going to go to Mr. Mike DeLisio. It's lower than 14,000, Mike. What is it? How many miles?
Scott, I hate to do this to you again, but I'm going to come in really aggressive on this first guess. I think that Bonacor was very confused.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 9,000 miles. I'm going to go with a round number, 9,000 miles.
9,000 miles. Back to you, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's still way too much. Think 8,500.
Can I get some points here?
8,000.
They're wrong.
500. So are you,
14,000.
sir. You will be quiet and you will wait your turn.
Steven thinks the
window shopping
747 can just
Ferraris online.
circumnavigate the globe 4 times over.
No. What is this, Magellan ship? No.
What's the current guess? Sorry.
8,000.
8,500.
500. Wow.
8,200.
Okay, 8,200.
All right, I think he's too low.
Very well. Scott, that's too
It is
low.
too
Those
low.
300 miles are the difference.
That's correct.
That's where it's at. It's definitely like once you go above, 8,200, you're really on fumes at that point.
That's ridiculous
Well,
now.
Scott, you are right. That is too low. You guys went too low pretty soon. Bonacor, I guess, was, he wasn't that wrong. Mike, you just overshot it. The real answer, the estimated number of miles is 9,500 miles.
Close. I was close.
It can go.
All right.
Okay? You were very close. You just went under a little too quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Scott, you've got now for this second round of questions, it's worth 4 points, bringing you up to 7.
Nice.
So 3 points for the first round, 4 points for the second, and we'll do 5 points for the third. All right. So that was our Bonacor question. Scott, we are back to you. I have a wine question for you. I know you know your wines. You are an expert, many have said, Scott, about wines. So here's my question. When was Brotherhood, which is the oldest winery in the United States, founded?
Ooh.
When was Brotherhood, oldest winery in the United States, founded?
I know where this is.
Nobody's asking you right now, okay? You bring him to a panel and he takes over. Such an alpha male.
I'm going to say 1699.
1699 is it's a little too old. That's a little too far back.
Thought about it as I said.
So it's going to be more modern than that. Scott, you are wrong. We're going to go to Bonacor, and he is going to give us his first guess. And let me say again, yes, it will be a guess. He does not know. He's just been near it, okay? That's not knowing.
1751.
1751. Very well.
This is an American winery, correct, Z?
Yes, I said it in the comments, in the question.
Okay.
I'm very confounded right now.
As am I. I understand why you asked Scott this question, Z, but I am a big wine connoisseur, and I can prove that because I have multiple boxes of Brotherhood wine in my refrigerator right now.
That's wonderful. Also, it's Brotherhood, not Brotherhood.
Same thing. It's right next to the Franzia. I'm going to go with...
He said
1780.
1751. What do you got?
1780.
1780. Okay. Very well. All right. Steven,
It is specifically 1793.
Wow. He knows his stuff, I guess. He loves picking these numbers. All right. Mike, back to you.
First American winery.
The oldest American winery, yes.
Go big or go home.
1802.
1802.
It's getting real. Stuff's getting real.
Mr. Bonacore.
1802.
Oh, he's thinking. He's going to
Challenge.
regress his mind to the
Gonna be-
tannins.
It's gonna be
I think you were correct
You're
to challenge.
challenging
I think you were
1802.
correct.
It's close. It's real close to this.
I think you were correct to challenge there.
I believe he is incorrect.
Oh,
You guys are not at the number yet.
Yes.
Stephen Bonacore's wrong. 1839,
Oh,
guys. You've got about 37
okay.
years to go. 1839 is when Brotherhood was founded. There we go. So that's going to give you, Mike, some points, 4 points, bringing you up to 7 as well. We got 773. And now we have a question for Mike. Mike is next, I believe. Am I doing this right? It's
I think you're correct.
Bonacore,
Yes.
Scott, Mike. Yeah. All right. Mike, back to you. Let's see. Let's find your question here. Where is it? There it is. Yes. Mike, as everyone knows, you are a wordsmith. You just dropped a word on us. What was it? You just said something quite fancy. I forget what the word choice was. Brotherwood was definitely not it. Yeah, that wasn't it. My question is, to you, Mike, and I'm sure you know this, when was the first Merriam-Webster dictionary published? When first Merriam-Webster dictionary published? What year?
Okay. Well, look, I enjoyed this year as a guest last time. I'm going to go with 1802 again, see? 1802.
1802 is a little too old. Mike, you are wrong.
Okay, darn.
That is, it's more modern than that. I don't think they had words yet in 1802.
English was not established.
Scott, we're going to go to you first.
Correct.
Scott, it is more modern than that. 1802 is wrong. What do you got?
I'm going to say 1828.
1828. Yes.
1836.
1836. And to be fair, ladies and gentlemen, Bonacore might have been there, so be careful with this one.
Ageism.
1842.
Wow, we're both creeping here.
Oh,
You're creeping, Bonacore. You're creeping. Make no mistake.
1852.
1852.
I think he went too far.
Well. Oh, perfection itself, Scott. He just went too far. The answer is 1847.
Nice.
That is fantastic. 1842 was your final guess. He went into the 50s, and you called him on it. Amazing showing. 1847 is the right answer. I love
Nicely
it.
done.
So you've now got another 4 points, bringing you up to 11. So we got 11,
Scott is wrecking
7,
us.
and Bonacore is playing too, I guess. And we are going to go back around the horn for your third and final question, everybody.
Here we go.
Starting with Mr. Stephen Bonacore. Let's see. What was your last question here, Bonacore? Let me find it. I asked you that.
That was your first question.
I gave the wine question to Scott, so you're going to get a game question.
All right.
And this is something that you should know. I know, Stephen, that you love your miniatures games. You know, you're a big fan of games with minis, right? So my question for you is, how many miniatures come in the box for Battle Lore 2nd edition? How many miniatures are
I
in
own
the
first
box?
edition. I don't own 2nd edition.
Well, I'm sorry, that information is invalid and useless. How many miniatures are in the box for Battle Lore 2nd edition? You gotta know this, man.
Come on.
This is what you know. You do your math. How many miles? Yes.
I'm just gonna put this out there. If you are going to presume to call yourself the Podfather of gaming, you need to know exactly how many miniatures are in the 2nd edition box of Battle Lore. Come on.
No,
I agree
really,
with that.
I don't. Just saying. The answer is there are 74 miniatures in that game.
What? If you got 74 miniatures in your box of Battle Lore, you got ripped off. That's not enough. That you are wrong. Okay, the number is higher than that. And Mr. Alicia is going to tell us how many actually come in there. 74 is what you said. It's higher. Mike, what do you got?
I'm coming with 85, Z. 85 miniatures in the second edition of Battle Lore.
85 miniatures. Scott.
Let's go to an even 90.
90.
Hmm.
Very well. Mike, back to you.
Oh, boy. Am I willing to go?
Close your eyes and count them in your head. Yeah.
Mm,
There you go. There you go. See?
I think Scott went too high. I think he went too high. Too high. This is too rich for my blood.
Mike, you are wrong.
Oh,
But he is extremely close, Mike. He is extremely close.
Man.
I know you would have overshot because he said 90.
Yeah.
The answer's 92.
Nice.
wow! What a
90
great guess.
Man,
miniatures.
that's brutal, man. You're
Scott,
killing me,
you are
Scott.
on
You're killing me
fire.
with these guesses.
Nice.
Wow.
There's another 5 points for you. That brings you
Never
up
played the
to
game either.
8, 9, 10, 11, 16.
Hey, Bonacor,
Amazing,
I want to introduce you to a phrase. Mathematically eliminated. That's what I'm feeling right about
But
now.
you know what? You're not going to win either. So that
That's what I'm saying.
I
that
think,
Oh,
I think
boy.
I forgot to tell you guys.
All right,
I'm
here we
actually
go,
a data
guys.
Analyst.
Last. See, this is insider trading.
Uh-huh. We got a ringer.
All right,
We got a ringer.
Your final question, Scott, is as follows. How many entries does Matt Leacock have on Board Game Geek? If you look up Matt Leacock, designer of Pandemic and various other games, how many entries would show up for under his name? That includes games, expansions, promos if he made them, that sort of thing.
I am going to say it's all the pandemics, it's all the expansions. 48.
48 is what you're saying. I don't know how this could possibly have happened, but you are wrong. The number is lower than that.
Ooh,
It's
lower than 48.
Wow, I would have sworn it was higher. Okay, okay.
I saw you doing this, and I was
Lower
like,
than
"Oh yeah, I know."
48.
I had a number in my head, and it was
Wow.
higher. So
Much
the
higher than that.
obviously the answer, because they did not count a few of those things that I know about, so that's okay. But
Oh, well.
obviously the answer is 42.
Okay. Got it.
Obviously.
Mr. Delisio.
See, the problem is that with the way that Scott has been guessing, the answer is probably 47.
Right.
Therefore, I'm too low, so you got to call me.
42,
Call
huh?
me. Call me. Call me.
All right. Let's keep it civil.
Oh, yeah, I mean, come on now. Wow.
Ridiculous civil.
Catch me
Just so
outside.
you
How
know,
about that?
Stephen, he was actually. Just so you know, Stephen, he was kidding about the Gucci suits. He doesn't know.
Done now.
It's not a social
40
pursuit. You should continue to look into.
I'm going to go 38.
38. Basically, you're insinuating Matt Leacock is a hack. That's what
35.
I'm saying that he won't put out trash. Gosh, because he did Pandemic, which had multiple expansions. He did Thunderbirds, which had multiple expansions. He's done co-designs. He's done 40. What'd you say, Z? Or
35. 35.
yeah, that's too low.
35.
That's too
You
low.
say.
Too low.
35 is too low. You should have followed your gut, Mike. You are getting the points. You're the one who backed off.
Oh.
So you're getting 5 points. But you should have followed your gut on Scott's ability to pinpoint.
It was like
these
47 or
answers.
46, right?
He said 48. The answer's 45.
Wow.
This is amazing, man.
You gotta go with Scott on this one. What would Scott do? And you
What
might
would
have
Scott do?
Right?
Correct.
There we go. All right. And so you got your 5 points, Mike. And now we have a final question that goes to Mike. So you're not getting any more points on this unless you nail the answer, Mike. All
right.
And that answer is, again, we talked about your style, your ability to display panache. I want to know, what is the estimated brand value of Rolex? How much is the company worth? What is the estimated brand value of Rolex?
Oh my gosh, I am horrible at valuations.
Yes, you are.
This is definitely okay.
Yeah, super fair. You've been bad at everything else today too. Let's
That's correct.
be blunt and honest.
I feel I'm pretty solidly in second place here. So, the brand valuation of
Encore
Rolex.
doesn't count,
I'm going to
so you're
go.
last.
That's correct. That is correct. I'm going to go with 14 billion.
$14 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you are wrong. That is too
Darn it.
high.
All
That
right.
is too much moolah cash. Scott, back to you. It's lower than 14 billion. What is it?
I think it's I think it's still lower than this, but I'm gonna just work my way down. 10 billion.
10 billion. Oh, is he playing mind games with you, Steven? Is
He
he
is.
leading you to a trap?
Screwing me. He's
Careful.
trying to like play that, like do what Scott does. He's completely messing with me. And he's
Watch out.
wrong. It's 8 billion.
8 billion. Okay. Right,
I'm gonna
Scott, back to you.
say 5 billion.
Whoa.
5 billion. Okay.
I was starting to feel okay about my initial guess, and now I'm not. Feeling like a dope.
4.
Time to return those Rolexes.
billion. 4.5 billion.
4.5 billion. Okay.
Wait, this says Rolex. Burn it.
I'm gonna say 2.2 billion.
$2.2 billion, which is still walking around money. Don't
right.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm going to change my initial guess. I'm going to change my initial guess to $14.50.
Hey, that says citizen. You're at 2.2 billion, Bonacore. What do you got?
Wow.
Mhm.
2.1 billion.
Oh, now you're
we're
just
playing this game.
Oh,
this
that's
is-
fair.
this
That's
is a
$100
shameful-
million. That's
This is a shameful
100.
That is
display.
garbage, okay? That's
Scott,
what I spend on
Scott.
breakfast.
Call me, baby. Call me.
I'm embarrassed on your behalf, Scott. This is a shameful display. I'm sorry you had to be here to see this.
That's $100 billion. $100 million.
Please. We're talking about official Rolex watches here. Come on.
Say 1.9 billion.
Oh.
1.9. All right. Steven. It's heating up in here, folks. Heating up in here. What do we got?
1.7 billion.
1.7 billion.
200. It's fair.
Yeah, it's
I
the
think
same jump that Scott just made.
All right. $1 billion
It's
company.
like a weird Dutch auction.
Just 1.4 billion.
Oof.
1.4 billion. Look at that.
1.1 billion.
Look at that. We're about to drop below the billions. Rolex is
Wow.
trash.
My goodness.
All right, I think he's too low.
Too
You
low.
think he's too low?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Mike was not that far off. He is too low.
Thank
yeah.
you.
He is
Thank
way
you.
too low.
Really?
Mike, you said 14 billion. The company is valued at $8.053 billion.
Oh, I
You're
thought I said
off by
12
a
billion.
few
Okay,
billion.
wow. Yeah.
a few billion here and there. That's fine.
Right.
So
That's
Scott,
nothing. Pocket
you
change.
have Scott got another 5 points on that.
Nice.
He
Yeah.
has annihilated the field with YouTube clowns.
Wow.
So fantastic job, everybody.
Nice
Congratulations.
job,
Mike,
Scott.
time to get your fake Rolex pawned off.
I
And
should have known they don't make
Scott, we
Pokemon
wanna-
watches.
I know. Yeah, discontinued. It's a limited edition now.
Right.
Scott, thank you for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us. We appreciate you. Thanks for supporting us, of
Thanks for your
course.
support,
And
man.
yeah, you've been a fantastic guest, buddy. Thanks very much.
Happy New Year,
Folks,
guys.
we are going to, thanks, man. We're going to take a little break, check out some contributors. We will be back with the news. You ready?
Hello everyone, my name is Dave Luza, and today I'm talking about yet another bluffing game. It gets a lot of love from our family, and the game is called Spicy, published by Heidelberg Games. Spicy, the box is already very, very shiny, and not only the box, the cards themselves are very shiny as well. As you can look at that, they are awesome. And even the art on the cards is awesome. It's all about numbered cards from 1 to 10. And in it, if you put them in sequence on each of the colors, you will find an animal who is discovering some kind of spice. Pepper or wasabi. And in the end, of course, in the beginning, it's curious. And in the end, it's like completely on fire. Lovely art. I really like it. In the game, it is a bluffing game, like you said. Each player has 6 cards in their hand. You're trying to get rid of your hand cards. And you do that by saying what card you're playing. For example, someone might say, you know what, I'm playing a green 1 card. And someone else might say, you know what, I am playing a green 6 card, because the numbers need to go up. If you're at 10, you can change back to a 1, a 2, or a 3 again. And then someone might say, you know what, I'm playing a green 7 card. Wait a second, I don't believe that is a green 7 card. Which is totally viable. And if we look at it, we know it's not a green 7, it's a red 7. But the person calling you out needs to specify what is wrong with the card. Is it either that it's not a 7 or that the color doesn't match? So even if you are bluffing, you still have a chance that the person calling you out is choosing the wrong thing. So I might say, you know what? I'm telling you, this is not a 7. And like we talked, you flip it and it was a 7. It was wrong. There was a bluff going on. And it doesn't matter what the other cards were, by the way. That person playing the 7 now gets these cards as points, and the person calling them out gets 2 new cards to add to their hand, because you want to get rid of your hand cards so you can get more points at the end of the game. That is the bluffing game Spicy. It's quick and easy. There are some joker cards that you can play that are either good for any number or good for any type of spice, but they still are wrong for whatever it isn't. So this card is only good for the number, but there's no color on it. So the color is always wrong. And the same way in the opposite direction goes for these spices. The game, Spicy, small but beautiful. Love it. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
All right, gentlemen, are you ready for some news?
News.
Hit me with
We
it.
love the news.
All right. I got to put on my news reading specs. Here we go. There we go. All right.
Otherwise
Hey,
known as old man
Bonacor.
glasses.
Time to pay attention, because we're starting off with some hot fire industry news.
Yes, we are.
Starting off with GameFound, which is one of the newer crowdfunding platforms, and they are introducing a VAT payment option for non-EU publishers. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people, maybe in the States, I'll speak for myself, I had heard VAT. You know, I've heard the term VAT, and I know that it is something that can be potentially a tricky thing to navigate if you are dealing with crowdfunding projects. But it looks like GameFound has now set up a situation within their platform where they will kind of handle the VAT within the pledge manager. And so it sounds like this could potentially be pretty big news.
Well, actually, the news is much bigger than that.
All right, hit me with it then.
Yeah, because what
You don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Sit down.
That's-
That's basically what Bonacor just said.
Nah,
I want to hear some names of people you personally know, Bonacor. Let's go.
Well, let's start with the fact this is actually very interesting news on many levels. First of all, GameFound, yes, you said it's a newer of the crowdfunding sites, but it's specifically for games, and they've been doing like kind of blockbuster after blockbuster game, really big stuff going on there. Portal Games has moved all their stuff to GameFound versus Kickstarter, and many other companies are doing them via GameFound, obviously specifically for games, though you can theoretically do any kind of crowdfunding there. The fact that they're going to be putting in call it a VAT module is phenomenal, because it is very difficult for publishers to collect the correct VAT and pay the correct VAT. So I don't know how they're going to do it. VAT is, by the way, for anybody out there, because we didn't even say it, what is VAT? VAT means value added tax. Consider it a sales tax for people in the US. That's what we do, but every state's got a different sales tax. Every country in the EU has a different VAT.
It's a 1 hour show, Bonacor.
Yeah, we got to go. Come on now.
This is big. All right, but
here's
the bigger portion of what they're doing. Just before that GameFound came out with this announcement, Kickstarter came out with an announcement about that they're rebuilding their entire platform on blockchain technology. We won't even go into exactly what that is, but Bitcoin is on blockchain, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of people then believe that they were doing that to skirt some laws in the EU. Don't know if that's the case or not. And GameFound in this announcement basically makes fun of Kickstarter's announcement, saying something like, all of these, our vision and plan are not some fancy, trendy buzzwords, but some down-to-earth hard work on details and tools. So kudos to GameFound for just saying, whatever, Kickstarter, we're doing it right, and we're just going to give tools to you. I'm not taking sides here. Kickstarter's been a phenomenal thing for gamers and game publishers. GameFound also doing some great stuff, but they're taking on the big boys. I mean, they're a microcosm of the size of what Kickstarter is. So kudos to them for making some interesting inroads here into the crowdfunding for gamers.
All right.
Yes.
Let's move on. Let's move on here. The Embracer Group, which is the company that just purchased Asmodee, all right, has also purchased.
That group, by the way.
That is correct.
Asmodee. I do not.
Asmodee also now owns Miniature Market. Yes.
Yes, they do. That was an unannounced thing that happened. Miniature Market is now by Asmodee as well.
That's correct. Okay. And this group, Embracer Group, the holding company that I believe we already talked about this in the news the last time that they purchased Asmodee, they've also purchased the Dark Horse Comics. Now, this is not strictly gaming related, but it is tangential. There are certainly some things that are going to be, potentially, moving along with this as well. So it's just interesting that this, I believe it's a Swedish company, that is now kind of getting into this market significantly. I mean, very significantly.
I'd like to think that they're now probably the largest diversified company in geek culture, right? I mean, obviously Marvel is so much bigger than this, but Marvel's got one very huge thing. These guys now, Embracer, have got all these video game studios involved with them. Comics, obviously the biggest board game company out there in hobby gaming. They're going to become a huge place for IPs and gaming in general. I think this is a very interesting development.
Yeah.
Yeah. My best takeaway from this is that Dark Horse owns Hellboy. So bring on the Hellboy board games. I know there's some, but keep them coming. Give me that Hellboy living card game. I'm in like Flynn.
Ooh, cool.
Wow. Could not be less interested in that, but that's because I'm not big on living card games. All right. Moving on, we've got Mythic Games. Again, we had some industry stuff at the beginning here. They made a partnership with a Spanish language publisher, Ingenio, 5-year agreement that they're going to distribute Mythic's games into Spain, Portugal, and Latin American markets. And so they've said that some of the first games that are coming out of this agreement into these new markets will be Super Fantasy Brawl, Six Siege, the board game, based off the Rainbow Six video game series, and Steam Watchers. And so, this company, Ingenio, is only a year old, and this is a pretty big thing. And I think, just on my end, it's more of this trend of getting hobby board games into more markets around the world, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Very happy for Mythic to be making more inroads like this. This is very good for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And speaking of Mythic, as we were, also, they've got a couple of new projects coming too, as we just mentioned, GameFound early next year. So Mythic is going on GameFound with these. These are a couple of expansions to a game called Rise of the Necromancers, which we actually played live during our Winter Spectacular. So if you have an interest, you can check out that playthrough. And so these new expansions called Dawn and Demons and Undead Sea. These are going to be coming to GameFound on January 11th. So, interesting that we've got some potentially pretty big projects coming right here.
Yeah, and this is interesting. The original publication of Rise of the Necromancers is not from Mythic. It was from this Sore Loser Games that you see there in the corner. And then Mythic, I guess, has picked up the game, I assume, and the Kickstarter then is going to have all this extra content in it. So very cool.
All right, next up is something that I know you're going to be very excited about, Z, because I've heard that you're a massive Post Malone fan. I know that you've got the entire catalog on your iPhone here. Oh, yeah. Magic the Gathering is teaming up with Post Malone. I wear a hat
largely to hide my forehead tattoos. Is why I wear.
Correct. Correct. It's a tribute to Post Malone. This is specifically to promote the Friday Night Magic organized play. But apparently Post Malone is a legit fan and a collector. Apparently he has, spent thousands of dollars on Magic the Gathering. And look, Magic the Gathering is a product that has, tendrils outside of just kind of modern hobby board gaming, right? This is something that it's related, but it has gone much wider. And so I think this is interesting. Now, I joke a little bit because, perhaps you and I, Z, are not necessarily very familiar. I can speak for myself. I'm not very familiar with his music. I've heard the name, but he's a very popular musical artist. And this is an interesting tie-in with hobby gaming.
I'll do you one better, Mike. I wasn't sure he was a musician.
I saw the news and said, "Hey, Paula, do you know Post Malone?" And she looked at me like I had two heads. Like, of course I do. Yeah. He's a guy with tattoos. I'm like, what is he? Singer. Oh, okay. Obviously, I'm not the demographic for this announcement. I think what Wizards does is amazing, and of course, Magic is a stellar game, and they get $1 billion almost a year in sales of this for Magic alone. I mean, crazy number. But yeah, this particular announcement for me is like, okay, well, that's interesting. I'm sure the demographic is really appreciative of this.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying different things. They're obviously not for us. That's a given. That's not, I'm not making fun of that.
No, exactly.
They know what they're doing, and they're doing something which is meant to appeal to folks that aren't necessarily already into Magic too. You know what I mean? I like Magic already. So
that's true.
And these are and these kind of celebrity somewhat endorsements of geek culture, if we want to call it that, is definitely like, people are I'm seeing stuff about Henry Cavill talking about Warhammer all over the place. So this stuff does make inroads into wider popular culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it can't be more valuable to have things like this if you want to expand your market. So yeah, it is a great idea. It just doesn't hit home with us.
Sure. All right, moving on, something that we probably are a bit more familiar with is Gil Hova's game, The Networks. This is a game that's been out for a number of years. It is a game based off of, building your own TV network, a fun little card game. I've actually enjoyed the networks quite a bit, and it's now getting a digital version and a digital adaptation. So perhaps, Z, we may see this on a future episode of Apptastic. Who knows? From Wheeler Games. And so I'm looking forward to this. I like the networks, and thinking about it with the fun artwork and everything, I think this could really work well as an app.
I'm very happy for Gil and Formal Ferret. I don't know Wheeler Games, though. Do you guys know of that digital company?
I have heard of them, yeah.
Okay.
I have not played the networks, but I look forward to giving it a go on my iOS device.
Yeah, I think you might dig it, Z. I think it's, card game. It's good. It's cute. It's got, again, I think it helps if you like this kind of parody comedic thing, but I think that's hard to pull off. My opinion is that the networks did it very well.
All right, well, we'll see. Humor's not really my thing, so.
That's correct. Clearly. All right, moving on. Let's talk some Star Trek, shall we? We've got Star Trek Super Skill Pinball 4K. So Super Skill Pinball 4K is a roll and write game that has come out in the last couple of years, and now it's got a big IP here. I mean, I think this is going to be pretty exciting to Star Trek fans, and I think it also kind of makes some thematic sense because there have been Star Trek themed pinball, tables.
Absolutely.
I'm sure, right? So
many.
This is cool.
This cover, though, I really hope this is not the final cover, boy.
I'm afraid it might be, Z. I'm afraid it might be.
I don't see why you hate the cover. It's basically showing the various incarnations.
And they work.
Oh my God. Anyway, I have a very quick, hopefully funny story about this. So Jeff Engelstein and I have got a long-term relationship. We did Space Cadets together and a number of games at Stronghold. So while I was working there, and he gave this game over to WizKids and Zev, my very good friend. I said, Jeff, I'm like king of roll and writes. Why didn't you give me this game? I happened to be on a cruise, the Dice Tower cruise, when this all happened. Jeff Engelstein said to me, if you cruise, you lose. And I missed out on having all of the Super Skill pinball games, which are fantastic, by the way. They all are really, really good.
And
that is a pretty good story.
Ever since, right?
And I have not cruised since, amazingly enough, which is not a cause and effect.
And Z, while I'm with you on not necessarily loving the cover, I do like that seal of excellence. That looks pretty sharp. All right, keeping in the Star Trek world, this one was very surprising to me. We've got a game called Star Trek Missions, which is basically Fantasy Realms with a Star Trek theme on top of it. I don't necessarily understand that, tie-in, but why not? Sure, if you're a fan of Star Trek. And I do like Fantasy Realms. I think that's a really, really solid, clever card game. Do I prefer this to that? I don't know, but it's an interesting idea.
I have not played Fantasy Realms, so I can't.
Fantasy Realms is a great game. I don't really care for Star Trek, I guess, but this is cool. Here's what's weird about this one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek Missions, the font that they're using on Missions looks almost like the exact same font from the logo for the TV show Star Wars Visions.
Oh.
And that is weird. Star Trek Missions, Star Wars Visions, those two fonts are very similar on the second part, the non-logo part, right?
Interesting.
It's just kind of a weird observation, I guess.
Now, I do wonder if they literally took Fantasy Realms and just ported it over with new artwork and new names, or if they changed it at all, if the cards are adjusted at all. If that were the case, and I'd have to look into it more, if they have made some differences, and this is almost like the Fantasy Realms engine, but with some different cards, I might be interested in trying it just because I like the game. But the IP, it doesn't really excite me in this case. So look, you've got a lot of people that are team Star Trek and some people that are team Star Wars. Our next piece of news is about Star Wars, and this is Star Wars Jabba's Palace, which is a love letter game. All right, and
what
so.
Now?
Yes, I know a lot of people have said, maybe even Tom. I don't know if he's made this comment before, but Love Letter has definitely gone in a lot of directions, right? There's been many versions of Love Letter. Some people might say too many, but some of those versions have made enough adjustments. I'm thinking of things like the Infinity Gauntlet and even the Batman game, where they've made little tweaks that have made it enough of a new type of a game while still keeping some of the feel of Love Letter. I'm hoping that's the case here. It does look like there's some different things, agenda cards. I'm kind of into this. I have to admit, I'm kind of into, and I'm excited about trying this one out.
I'll give it a go.
I love the Love Letter system, the original, and I really loved Batman Love Letter, even though that was an oddly named thing. I see that they barely mention Love Letter on this box. It's up there in the upper right corner, right? It's like, which is obviously an intentional choice. They're just calling it Jabba's Palace. I'm hopeful for this. I think the system is great, and you can do with a tiny little tweak, you just change the feel of the game and how it runs. So yeah, man, Star Wars is great. I'm a Star Trek over Star Wars fan, but both are great. I'm happy to see this.
All right.
Yeah. This is cool. I'll play this.
All right, we're moving on. We're gonna speed things up here. Mystic Vale is getting a big box. Look, it seems like this is the one of the big trends in gaming is take a popular game with expansions, throw them into a big box. This is what we got here, the Mystic Vale big box. I have to be honest with you, Mystic Vale is just not a game that ever really captured my attention that much. I know that I'm likely in the minority there, but for the people that like it, this is very popular. And for the people that like it, they maybe will like having this kind of one size fits all, put it all in the big box. It says it does not include any gameplay changes. It does have new box art, and it doesn't have all the expansions. It has Veil of Magic, Veil of the Wild, and Mana Storm. This is scheduled to release in March of next year.
All right.
Moving on, Clinic, which is a heavy game from Alvin Viard, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is coming in an all-new deluxe edition. This is something that Capstone is bringing along. If there's one thing we know about Capstone is that they have got kind of this medium to heavyweight Euro game on lock. They really know how to make a nice production, and this certainly seems to be no different there with Ian O'Toole artwork. So this is something I believe was originally kickstarted, and so now this is going to be coming to retail. Pre-order January 4th.
This is going direct to retail, not a Kickstarter game.
Correct. Yeah, it was already kickstarted, but if you missed out on that and now you're interested, you can get it retail pre-ordering on January 4th.
The Ian O'Toole art itself will sell the game.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Uwe Rosenberg, right? You heard of him? Exactly. Uwe Rosenberg, I'm starting to feel is channeling a little bit of Reiner Knizia in that he's taking mechanisms and building 17, 18 different games off of particular mechanisms, just kind of slight re-implementations of earlier games. So we've got a game called Framework, and we're going to have a few games here coming from Pegasus Spiele, and so this is one of those, and they're saying this has some similarities to Nova Luna, which was a 2019 Spiel-nominated game. There was another game called, what was the other game based off of Nova Luna, Z, do you remember offhand?
Gosh.
There was another one, Sagani, I think it was called.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And then so here's another one, Framework, that's kind of got it's a tile laying game. I have to tell you, I don't love the cover at all. I feel like it's like, let's lean into the ochres and oranges. It doesn't really do a lot for me, but the gameplay might be nice.
It looks so plain, unfortunately.
It does.
Yeah. I don't know. And when I first saw it, I'm like, is this another patchwork?
Right.
Yeah. That's the first thing that came to my mind. It looked like it was like Patchwork, but but Patchwork is obviously not like Nova Luna. So, and that system is pretty.
I don't think I would have called it. I wouldn't have called it blank work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Something.
Especially, for a game with tiles, and I mean, I know it's not Tetrominoes, but it could be a little confusing. So, All right, so from a game that we think has a pretty plain cover to a game that I think has a very vibrant cover, also coming from Pegasus Spiele, we've got Animotion. And this is a re-implementation of a game that's not that old from Natalie Gramperin and Bruno Faiduti that Gigamic originally put out. It was called Animal Suspect originally, and now it's being re-implemented as Animotion. So it's, again, still an animal kind of themed game. 3 to 8 players, which I think, I don't know if Bruno Faiduti will design a game that has less than 3 players. So I like the look of the cover.
He's got a few, but they're very, very rare. Yeah, his games are generally party style, big interactive things. I never did play Animal Suspect. I think it was a really hard game to get.
Gotcha.
So it's nice to see, ideally, something that will be more easily available. But again, I don't know the game. I have not played it. I just know Animal Suspect was very hard to find.
This is a pretty and vibrant cover, as you said.
Yeah, I agree. It's due out in March, Z. So maybe we'll get a chance to take a look at it.
All right.
All right, and then finally from Pegasus Spiele, it's not the last of the news, but the last from Pegasus Spiele, a first-time designer bringing us a game called Fife. I'm going to hope that's how I pronounce it. The designer's name is Kosch. Kosch, due out Q2 in English, a little bit earlier in German. Looks to me to be a abstract game, but I really think it's beautiful looking. I like the back of box cover where it kind of is giving me this almost of a meadow vibe where you're putting these little surfboards, it looks like, to maybe draw tiles from a particular place in a central grid. I like the look of it.
Yeah, I really like the look of this. It makes me think of some of Bruno Catala's grid games, right? He's got a bunch of those. It kind of looks, it looks very interesting. This is one that I've definitely got my eye on. This seems like the kind of thing that's going to be my speed. So
I want to play this on the beach. I want to take my game and put it right there on the beach, like the back of that box, and put it right in the sand. No, I probably will not do that. But yeah, it is very pretty looking.
You cruise, you lose. All right. Next up, we've got from Eagle Griffin Games a game called Bot Factory, which is a reworking of a Kanban, a Vital Lacerda game. And so this is something similar to what has happened recently. There was a game called Mercado de Lisboa that came out last year, which was a very small, short game that was based off of one part of a larger game called Lisboa. And so it looks like they're doing something similar here, where they're taking this big, heavy Euro Kanban and creating a much smaller game based off of it. So I bounced pretty hard off of Mercado de Lisboa, to be honest with you, but I like the cover of this. I hope it really is light. We'll see.
Yeah. I like it. It looks neat. I'll definitely give it a try. Yeah, I feel the same way you did about Mercado, but I'll keep trying.
It seems like Lacerda's games, when he distills them down, don't get the same reception as his bigger games. But I think that idea though of having lighter games based on the bigger games in many of those is a good idea in general.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, our last piece of news, and something that I put at the end because I'm very, very excited about this. This is a new version of one of, I think, the best games out there, and that is Ra by Reiner Knizia. It is being republished by 25th Century Games, and we mentioned Ian O'Toole before, fantastic artist illustrator, and he's going to be doing the artwork for this, and I love, love, love this cover. I'm really excited about this. I like Ra a lot. I've played it many, many times, but I've never owned it. I think this is going to be the first version of Ra that I own.
Wow. You've never owned Ra before.
I've always had friends that have had it, so I've never needed to own it. And now here we've got it in the library. So
you've always had acquaintances that had it. Let's
fair enough. Fair enough.
Ra is a classic, wonderful game. And this is a very interesting classic take on Egyptian art that Ian has put right there. So yeah, this is a win. Ra is a great game. It's a great game.
Yeah. Fantastic game. Great illustrator. 25th Century Games are doing very neat stuff. they are a publisher to watch, in my opinion. I think they're doing great work. So this is looking real good. I just might have to reacquire Raw when this comes out. Because I, unlike some people, have owned Raw in the past.
Tell you what, Z, we'll bid on it. We'll see who gets it first. All right. Well, that is the news for today. We've got one more block of contributors, so stick around and check those out, and then we'll be back here to see you off.
Hey, Meeple people, how's it going? And today we're looking at Draconic Dice. This is a game from Ultra Pro, and it's a quick, little, easy dice chucker that's for ages 10 and up, for 2 to 5 players, and takes about 5 to 10 minutes to play. Well, let's go ahead and dive into it real quick, shall we? Draconic Dice is about dice chucking until you have no more dice in front of you. You'll just keep rolling with however many dice you are given, and just keep rolling them out until you go ahead and get rid of them all. First player to get rid of them all is the winner. Quickly, let's go over some of the dice faces in the game. There's only 4. The dragon side is you go ahead and you will give that die to another player. The fireball side will go ahead and allow you to get rid of it and put it in the pool in the middle. And if you don't roll a fireball on your turn, you take all the fireballs within the middle. The injured cracked helmet is an injured knight, and you go ahead and you will be putting that out of the game permanently. And blanks, well, you just keep for your next round. So that's pretty much Draconic Dice. It's a nice little easy dice checker from Ultra Pro. And yeah, it's a pretty mobile one that you can play with your friends almost anywhere. Well, we all hope you enjoyed this short blurb of Draconic Dice, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella here from Meeple University and the Dice Tower. Today we're talking about the search for Planet X. Now, this was last year's release, 2020 release, I believe.
Yes.
It's on a few people's top 10 games, and I can understand why. So we just played this year.
Yes.
It is a loan from our friends as well. And they like it. It's like, oh yeah, I really want to play it. It's a logic puzzle deduction game, which I'm usually drawn to. Things like Alchemists, Cryptid, yeah, that sort of games where you're trying to deduce the answers. So there's this sheet as well.
Yep. So this one is a game of it's a pure logic deduction game where you get some points for early guessing of things, and then points for solving the whole problem.
Yeah, so that's the secret. It's not just solving the whole problem, but just slowly getting points out there. There are a few options that you can. It's using the time tracker mechanics. It's like Nova Luna, is it? The more powerful your action is, the more you move through the track, and that means that your turn would be last or later, or like Australia as well does that. I really like this one. I thought Taryn would have liked it like way more than it is, but for you it's a bit slow maybe.
It was a little slow. It was because it was pure deduction and a lot of working on the sheet. It ended up being a pretty individual experience. You can try to deduce as well when other people, I want to do this action, and then later on they put, okay, I want to guess this, like, maybe it's something. Like it's more than that, but I really recommend this game.
And that's going to do it for us today on Board Game Breakfast, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you keep it right here on the Dice Tower. We will hopefully be back later on today with a top 10, like we said, based on whether Tom can speak. And if not, we'll push it to tomorrow. But either way, make sure you come on back for all sorts of goodies. I will take a quick second to remind you, we've got a Kickstarter coming up, everybody, on January 11th. Put it in your calendars. Put it in the back of your head. Make sure you come on back if you want more content like this, okay? We appreciate you. A special thanks to our guest, Scott, for being so wonderful and crushing these two.
Yes.
And that's going to do it, folks. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Mike Delisio.
And I'm Stephen Bonacore.
And we will see you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.